Hi there, this is Darren O'Neill from Remote School. Please check out remoteschool.com for all things Moodle. Okay, in this video, I'm going to give you a short introduction to Moodle for administrators. So you can see I have my Moodle 4 site here, and I'm just going to log in. Okay, so we can see we're logged in, and since I'm an admin, we see Site Administrator. So let's talk about some of these settings here. So first thing we'll see, we have our Site Administration section. Let's maybe have a quick look at some of these things here. We have notifications, registration, Moodle services, and feedback settings. Let's talk through some of these settings. So notifications is a really important place where you can check for notifications that may be things that you need to check. So for example, we can see that my cron hasn't run because this is just a test system. We can see the Moodle app isn't enabled, and we can see we haven't checked for updates, most likely because cron isn't running. So notifications is where you get notifications about your system, about things that you may need to act upon. Okay, so we can see register your site. You have options. If you want to register your Moodle site with Moodle, you can do this here and you can agree to register your site and it'll be registered with Moodle then. Moodle services show you where you can go to get Moodle partners and you can reach out. And if you want Moodle assistance, you can always contact Remote School. But if you want to choose a different partner, you can do things through here and reach out. And you can click to enable feedback, send your feedback back to Moodle. Okay, so we can see there's some other options here. We won't go through all these in this introduction, but that's just some important admin. Okay, so next I'm going to click on users. So here we can see we have a whole heap of sections around users. So we can browse the current list of users, we can bulk user actions, we can add a new user. So if we click in here, for example, we'll see the option to add a new user and we can step through that process. You can also see you can upload user pictures. We also have a whole heap of thing around permissions, user policies, define roles. Site administrators is a handy section. You may want to add an additional user to your site admins, and you can do that quite easily by doing that here. And we can see now we've now added a site admin. So let's go back to our site administration and see what else we can see, which is handy for site admins. Okay, let's click back into users. We can also see we have some privacy options here. Okay, let's scroll back up. So we have courses here and we have a whole heap of sections here. We've managed courses and categories. Now, I don't think I have any courses on this as it's a blank Moodle site, but you can agree and set up new courses quite easily here. You can add a new category, add a new course. You can restore a course, and you can also do things like download course content. Another thing that's handy is the general backup defaults. Let's just have a look in here. And you can have a look at here that you'll keep logs for 30 days. And you can set some of your backup settings, which is always really, really handy to do. So let's just click back here. And we can see automated backup setup. And you can choose here to say, yes, I want to enable my backup and I want to set it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can execute it at midnight and you can say, no, keep one backup. And there's a whole heap of options here, very important options to set up on your Moodle site. So that's where you would look to get your backups. That's probably one of the most important things to actually configure. So we can see we've gone through course activity and backup grades. So you can see some of the options you might want to set around grades. So you can set your general settings. You can see that the student is the only graded role, user report, and you can see there's a lot of options here around grade settings, which is obviously important to check with the teachers who may be on your course and what way they want to set up grades on Moodle. An important one for administrators, definitely plugins. So you can see options here. You can actually install your plugin from here and you can then drop your zip file in. You should also be able to click here and it will take you to the Moodle plugin site and you can browse what plugins you may want to install from here as well. So we can see all the additional plugins that we would like to add to our Moodle site. And obviously that's very important to know where that is, because you will get asked to add additional plugins to the site. So let me just go back here. Appearance, also another important one. So I still have the default theme here, and you can install new themes through that plugin. But there should be some default themes here. Let me just see, do we have any default installed? So there's this classic, we have boost and classic. So I can change here and say, you know what, I want to use the classic theme. And let me just click on that, and hopefully this will swap for us now. Cool, and we can see I've now swapped to the classic theme, and what I might actually do, I might change it back. But you can see this is the classic theme, and I can quite easily just go change theme, and let's change back to that one we were using. So I'll click use theme to go back to boost. But you can always just install new themes via the plugins and then change the appearance here. You can also begin to do a lot of default settings on your appearance by using these settings here. Server is really, really important. So you can see we can get really good information here about the server. I can click on my PHP info and I'll get all my information about my PHP. I'm sure there's information here about HTTP settings, and you can see all this here. Really, really important if you're administrating Moodle. Environment should hopefully give me some information about my environment, and you can see everything looks okay here. So this is a really, really important section. We see some options on schedule tasks, so you need cron working. Your mail configuration, if you're going to point it at an SMTP server, you can set all that via here. So you need to have an SMTP, you can point that. Reports, which is another really, really good section. So you can pull out some information. You can see live logs. So you can see me that I'm moving around this site, and you can see all that information here around reports. Really, really important if you're going to maybe provide logs on certain instances. And you can see even from security checks, I imagine mine was saying all over HTTPS, but it gives you loads of options around security that you need to check. Also very, very important for Moodle administrators. And last here we have development, and we can look at purge caches is one you will use a lot. If you're having issues, you can click to purge all caches, and it will purge any cache that's on the server. It might actually take a minute to do it, but oh no, we're back now. So now we've purged all caches, and that's always something. If you have an issue, it's always something that is worth doing. Yeah, so that's really a very high level introduction to Moodle for admins. There's other options here that of course have a look at, but this will really give you site administration, and you'll have your options that you can go into, and that should hopefully be enough to get you going as a Moodle administrator. If you do need help or support, please do reach out to remoteschool.com, and please do like and subscribe if you found this video useful. And as always, thank you for watching.